Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I hope everybody's doing good this morning. So as promised, I want to come on here and talk about the whole Brock Turner situation. I want to do a complete breakdown for you guys and kind of, show you guys why people are upset and why people are screaming foul, okay? So for those of you guys who don't know who Brock Turner is, Brock Turner was a former student. He was also a swimmer at Stanford University. And so what happened is that back on January 28th, 2015, two graduate students happened to be walking past a dumpster and they saw Turner raping this woman. She was half naked. She was clearly, passed out, inebriated. And so once he was caught, performing sex acts on her, he got up and he decided to run. And these two heroes is what I call them, chased him down and they held him there until the police arrived. So the victim ended up being rushed to the hospital. And she finally came back too. She said the last thing she remembered is that she accompanied her sister to a party. And initially she wasn't going to go, but she didn't want her younger sister going to the party by herself. So I don't know if something was slipped into her drink. I don't know what happened. But I thank goodness that these two graduate students walked up on this rape and they were able to catch this man in the act. So, you would think, okay, fine, he was caught in the act. There's witnesses, that he would at least plead guilty. So no, of course, he pleads not guilty. So it ends up going to trial. The victim ends up releasing a letter, a statement about her assault, which went viral. She's never been identified because she wants to keep her privacy. Shortly after her letter went viral, Brock Turner's father also released his own letter, basically stating that he should not be treated as harshly for a 20-minute mistake, being that out of his entire 20 years, he does not have a criminal record. He's been on the right side of the law, and he wanted the judge to really take this into consideration. So on June 2nd, Judge Michael Aaron Persky ended up sentencing Turner to just 6 months in jail and 3 years of probation, and also stated that he has to register as a sex offender. So once people heard the sentence, of course people were pissed off because, as we all know, for an average rape case, you get anywhere from 5 to 10 years. But yet and still, he never ends up going to prison. He only has to serve 6 months. So now to add insult to injury, it has not even been a full 6 months. He has only served 3 months in jail, and this idiot is currently out. So now people are upset. People have been protesting at his house in Ohio. Yesterday, his mother took him to go register as a sex offender. She called herself trying to hide her son's identity with the sweater. It's like, bitch, if you don't have a damn seat, I want you guys to go ahead and check out this news clip really quick, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
Sheriff's Department in his hometown of Ohio. Now, Turner signed that paperwork with his parents by his side. Also, a change today for the judge who sentenced Turner, Judge Aaron Persky. NBC Bears' Michelle Roberts joins us live from a San Jose court, and now Judge Persky will be working from there.
That's right. He was transferred here by his own request to hear civil trials. We checked in today on his courtroom, but it was closed. Brock Turner checked in with the Sheriff's Department in Ohio, as he will have to do every 3 months for the rest of his life.
How are you feeling today, Mrs. Turner?
Brock Turner didn't answer any questions as he walked into the Greene County Sheriff's Department in Ohio this morning.
Brock, you want to apologize to the victim?
His mom stood by his side and then tried to block the cameras with her sweater as her son formally registered as a sex offender. Behind the sweater and glass window, Turner filled out this form.
In the official documents today, Turner answered no when asked if he had any addictions to drugs or alcohol. He also answered a few questions about his victim, including her age and hair color. The survivor in this case had chosen to remain anonymous, but her powerful account of the attack, read into the record in Judge Persky's court, has gone viral following the conviction. Today, protesters holding signs and some carrying weapons continue to camp in front of Turner's house.
By us, he's going to be treated as any sex offender would be. And out in the public, I don't know.
The sheriff of Greene County, Ohio, says all of Turner's neighbors will receive a notification letter, including this picture, announcing that a sex offender has moved in nearby. When asked to comment on Turner's 3 months in jail, Sheriff Green Fisher had this to say.
People know not to come to Greene County to commit a crime because our judges are tough.
As for the official recall of Judge Persky, that will begin in April. Backers will work together 80,000 signatures. If they can do that, it will be on the November 2017 ballot.
All right, so you guys just saw that news clip. So as you guys saw, he was released on so-called good behavior. He only served 3 months. And right now that judge, people are demanding his head. There's a change.org petition basically asking Santa Clara County to remove Judge Persky from the bench. So a lot of people are really upset about this. They're saying that it's not fair. Not only did he only receive 6 months, he didn't even serve the whole 6 months. He's out in less than 3 months, and that is not normal. You know what I'm saying? It's not okay. And this is why folks continue to scream about white privilege and why people are upset, because these laws are not the same for everybody across the board. I want to take you guys back to a case that happened back in 2003, the case of Jonaldo Wilson, okay? At that time, Jonaldo Wilson was months away from graduating high school and heading off to college. Him and his friends decided to basically have a hotel party. They invited 2 girls over there. Their ages were 15 and 17. Jonaldo Wilson had consensual sex with a 15-year-old girl. They filmed themselves. She was giving them head and all types of stuff. Once the video of their exploits became public, Jonaldo, along with his friends, were all arrested. All his friends decided to take a plea deal, but Jonaldo wanted to fight it because he felt like, one, he was not a molester. He had permission, and him and this girl are only 2 years apart. So he took it to court, and he ended up getting 10 years in prison. I mean, it was just a shocker. And had people not raised as much hell as they did, he'd probably still be sitting in prison today. But lucky for Jonaldo, after 3 years and all the public, backlash and people being upset, he was finally released out of prison. I want you guys to go ahead and watch this news clip really quick, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
My exclusive interview with an Atlanta man involved in a controversial sex case. Jonaldo Wilson was 17 when he was convicted for having consensual relations with an underage girl. She was 15. An order from Georgia Supreme Court set Wilson free. He talked to me about that incident and a big achievement he will celebrate this weekend.
I knew it would be some people who may feel like I don't deserve a second chance or an opportunity, but we all make mistakes.
Jonaldo Wilson told me he's now speaking out about his mistakes so they don't happen to others. You may remember his case. His videotaped consensual sex encounter with a 15-year-old girl drew national attention to Georgia's child molestation laws. Wilson was 17 at the time. He was convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison. After serving nearly 3 years, his sentence was overturned by the state's highest court, and Wilson was freed.
And when you talk about the behavior back then, what we saw on the video, you didn't know that behavior was illegal.
Right. I just look back at myself back then, and I just say, I can't believe I exhibited that kind of behavior, because I don't condone that behavior, but it's something that happened, and I just had to fight for what I believe was right.
Wilson is now 27 years old. He's moved on with his life in so many ways. He's engaged and has a 2-month-old daughter. On Sunday, he will celebrate a major milestone, graduating from Morehouse College with a degree in sociology.
I'm very excited, and I just feel like it's one of the many stops on my journey.
So now you get to graduate, and Barack Obama is your commencement speaker. How special is that for you?
It's going to be awesome. I never imagined that when I graduate college, the president will be our commencement speaker, so that's going to be awesome.
Wilson got a full scholarship to attend Morehouse College from radio host Tom Joyner. Wilson told me that after graduation, he hopes to work at a nonprofit organization helping other young people. You can read more about Jonaldo Wilson's journey in this Sunday's Atlanta Journal-Constitution. In that interview, he will talk about the mentors who have helped him over these years and during his time at Morehouse.
All right, so you guys just watched the news clip. Now, I want to go ahead and fast forward to 2014. A young white man named Ethan Couch. Ethan Couch killed not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 people. On top of that, he injured a total of about 12 people, okay? But out of those 12 people, 4 people died because Ethan Couch thought it was a good idea to steal some beer, get drunk, and go on a joyride. And he ended up causing this fatal collision. And do you know how much time Ethan Couch got? Ethan Couch literally got probation due to affluenza. They came with a whole new term for this kid. They called it affluenza. They're saying he was so spoiled. He was never taught the word no, so he couldn't be held accountable for his actions. So it caused a lot of backlash, but he didn't have to do any time. He gets like 10 years of probation.
Must be nice.
And you would think that somebody like Ethan Couch would realize how much of a blessing his white privilege helped him and that he would fly on the straight and narrow. But again, people who suffer from white privilege, who feel like they're above the law, end up being some of the most cocky motherfuckers that you will ever meet. Because in less than a year and a half later, after him receiving this blessing of a sentence after killing 4 people, he was caught on campus in the dorm room playing beer pong. And part of his probation is that he's not allowed to drink.
2, 1, come on!
and he was playing beer pong, having a good old funky time. Meanwhile, the people that he killed are buried in a cemetery and their families are still suffering. But once this video was made public and it went viral, there was a warrant issued out for his arrest. They wanted him to turn himself in because he had violated probation. And instead of him facing the music, turning himself in, him and his mother decide to basically take their money, hightail it out of the States. They end up going on the run. They were basically eluding police for months. And then eventually they got caught. They had to be extradited back to the United States. So this is why people are upset about the Ethan Couches and the Brock Turners. And yes, you have to be honest with yourself that there are certain privileges allotted to certain people. And I know a lot of people say, well, it's not about white privilege. They were wealthy. They were rich. Well, to me, Brock Turner isn't necessarily wealthy. Ethan Couch, yes, his family is wealthy, but Brock Turner just comes from a regular middle class family. You know, his family is living in Ohio. They're literally living on a regular block and people are protesting in front of their house because people see the bullshit hypocrisy for what it is. You know, so it's very unfair. It's very disheartening. And I definitely feel bad for that victim. It's one thing to see your case played out on national television, but then to see that the person who raped you, who violated you, who had no regards for your body, basically only be sentenced to 6 months. And then to add further insult, they get out in 3 months because of good behavior. Where was all this good behavior and, you know, walking on eggshells and doing the right thing when he decided to go and rape a woman behind a dumpster? You know, where was his good behavior then? So this whole situation is crazy, but I had to point out the hypocrisy. You know, a lot of people just seem to think that black people do nothing but whine and just make shit up. And, you know, they're just crazy. They complain about everything. And you guys know I don't play the whole race card thing. When black people mess up, I call them out. You know what I'm saying? I call out hypocrisy. So that's all I'm doing in this situation is calling out the hypocrisy that is the Brock Turner situation and the Ethan Couch situation. Like I always say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If we're going to say that if a black or Latino man rapes somebody and they end up doing 10 to 20 years in prison, it should be the same for Brock Turner. I don't care if he's never had a criminal record. I don't care if he's a good swimmer. I don't care if he's a good student, because you know why? There's a lot of good people out here who don't go around raping other people. There's a lot of good people out here who don't go around driving drunk and killing people. You know, granted, we all make mistakes, but certain things, like I said before, are not mistakes. Forgetting to take out the trash on trash day, that's a mistake. Locking your keys in a car and having to spend money on a locksmith, that's a mistake. Getting pissy drunk, jumping behind the wheel of a car and killing 4 people, there's no coming back from death. So to me, that's not a mistake. Possibly putting something into somebody's drink to inebriate them and then rape them later is not a mistake. And even if she had drunk so much to where, you know, she couldn't handle herself, the fact that this young man thought that it was okay to take her outside and rape her behind a dumpster, to me is disgusting. And the fact that he's out on probation and really his only punishment is registering as a sex offender, to me is just as disgusting. Brock Turner needs to still be in jail. There's no reason for his ass to be out right now, walking free, not really suffering any consequences, not having to pay for what he did.
Must be nice.
I think it's a bullshit, and I really feel bad for the victim. So anyways, you guys, I don't want to make this video too long. Let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation. Do you feel like there's certain privileges out here as far as white privilege? There's also wealth privilege. You know, certain celebrities, you know, black or white, get away with things just because they're celebrities, just because they're famous, just because they're wealthy. There's definitely privileges out here. And I think that people should acknowledge that sometimes white privilege, you know what I'm saying, is being used, especially when it comes to a court of law. And this Brock Turner case is a perfect example of that because, like I said before, he's not wealthy. He's just a regular middle class kid, and he literally got a slap on the wrist. And I also think that Judge Michael Persky, he definitely should be removed from the bench, because if you're not going to be fair all across the board, then he shouldn't be there. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right, deuces. Hey you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.